Okay, so we're going from a ton of data and 100 years of mine history and Mexico, where silver is aplenty, to a completely new frontier, almost no data, and a discovery that was made at the end of 2016 by a local school principal. On that road, Tony Kearney was out driving with his son, hunting for moose, looked to his left, saw this big blue boulder, malachite, just a big oxidized piece of copper, drives it down 3 hours south, never any exploration in this area, gets it assayed, it's 500 grams silver and 2.5% copper. Let's see if this starts working here. Go. There we go, all right. So at the end of the day, we're treasure hunters in the exploration game. We're looking for something big, and there's really a roadmap that takes you to what kind of map you need. And in something that's so new, you want to make sure that you have a direction on the map. You don't want to just be looking all around. But you need these 4 key things. You need scale to understand the strength of the system. You need to see grade to see the richness of the system. And in any new discovery, try and get into the game of making money and figuring out where the holes are supposed to be. You want to find someone that's actually made some sort of discovery. With Silver Tiger, it's interesting, 15 years ago when I started my career as an investment analyst, it was owned by a company called LT Gray. And we loved this project because it had all of these pieces to it. It had scale, it had grade, and they had already had a mine, so there was a discovery, and they could never just quite figure it out. So it's amazing, the success, and it's great to see that. But in this case, in a new thing, you need these 4 pieces. And then you need a good location, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get your project going very far. So when we talk about scale with what we have here in North Newfoundland, we're talking something like we have a comparable to Keno Hill. Why do we have a comparable to Keno Hill? The vein type, the boiling point, and the type of the ratio between silver and antimony. And just for some scale here, this 12 kilometers, it's kind of like going from the Vancouver airport up to Cypress Mountain. So it's a pretty long way, and we have this linear soil, trench, and outcrop anomaly that goes straight between these lakes, as you can see. And for context of what 12 kilometers means in Keno Hill produced on the western side about 230 million ounces from 9 mines over about 80 years in the 1900s. And these mines, these are small, dense, rich, high-grade pods of silver. The smallest mine there is about 250,000 tons, produced 10 million ounces. The largest one on that side was 3 million tons, not a lot of rock, 100 million ounces. And when we start talking about grades, already from our drilling, you're starting to see similar types of grades. And we have different kinds of mineralization, which is a great thing when you're seeing a system. Again, referring to Silver Tiger with the sulfides and the epithermal veins and then the shale zones. When you have multiple kinds of mineralization, all spouting high grades, that's great, because it shows you that at some point when you find that source, those metals are going to attract to each other, and you're going to have something really rich and really exciting to go after. So over 2 years of drilling, we started drilling this in 2021, couldn't even step foot on the project because of COVID. And so we were able to, we drilled a lot in kind of the wrong places, and then finally we kind of started to figure things out. And from 2 years of drilling and a completely new discovery, we've already created this footprint of mineralization that stretches across 1 kilometer. And the main body of mineralization so far that we've seen is this 400 by 200 by 150 meter kind of blob of this lower grade sulfide. Those the darker red, that's about a plus 200 gram per ton silver equivalent isotropic surface. So kind of just a non-resource, but kind of showing you what's supposed to be there. And the light is a plus 30 gram. But we know that we have this 400 by 200 by 150 kind of blob of tons of sulfides at surface. Then 500 meters north, we have this hole down there at 64. And we see that this is 8% copper, 1,500 grams silver, 12% lead, 2.5% antimony. So we see that over this large stretch of this large footprint, within 2 years, we were able to figure out that from this 12-kilometer anomaly, we now have this 1 kilometer area that has multiple kinds of mineralization, multiple kinds of high-grade mineralization, and a big footprint, a scale that is something showing that the feeder that you're going to find is going to be very significant. So at this point, we would be going through the animation and showing kind of the trend lines and things like that. We're not going to do that right now because it's not there. But if you can kind of take a look at just that bottom left image, you can see these high-grade trends pointing in a certain direction. And that is pretty much the story here. You're gonna continue down this trend line, find the source for this 1 kilometer long footprint. What makes this truly unique is where this is. If you take a look at that road, again, back to the story of Tony Kearney, this guy's out hunting for moose and is able to get there through this logging road. It's flat, there's water, not too much water, there's a town nearby, not too close, there's power lines that run right through the property. In terms of a place to build a mine in the future, this would be quite ideal. So what are we doing this year? We're going to drill down that trend line and continue expanding on this mineralization. But who am I to talk about this? I'm a finance guy. Listen to the geologist. What we have on our team right now, who's leading our exploration efforts and also verifying that what we are doing. Recent appointments as advisors, Dr. Neil O'Brien. He was the Senior Vice President of Exploration at Lundin Mining for 20 years. Prior to that, a senior geologist at Cominco. He actually worked at Keno Hill in the 80s, and so his insight is going to be very valuable. And leading our exploration efforts is Jeremy Niemian. Jeremy has this very specific skill set. He goes into projects that have a small discovery, and he takes them into something very significant. He took Noron forward. He took forward Gold Quest, moving that up to about 3.5 million ounces down in the Dominican Republic. And then this is his next adventure, to take this carbonate-hosted system that we have this smaller discovery on surface and find something that's very significant. So, in all of this, we are a small company, $14 million market cap. We have $3.5 million in cash. We're currently doing a geophysical survey to make sure that we get that targeting. We can see the mineralized structures down from about 2 kilometers below the surface. And then, truthfully, you're just matching it up. You're saying, okay, well, the trend line is coming from surface and the mineralized structures are coming from the bottom, and drill really where they meet. And then that's what we're doing this year. The drill program should probably start in April. And yeah, that's the story. We should be drilling pretty soon, and we're excited about it. That's it. Thanks a lot.